Hello and welcome. I'm Dana Bristol Smith with Leap to Success, and I am really happy to welcome you to Self-Care in Stressful Times webinar series. Today, we are continuing to explore personal leadership, and we've defined 10 attributes of personal leadership. Today's topic is self-compassion, which is really a great place to start at developing leadership skills. By having more self-compassion in our lives, which is really treating ourselves with more kindness, compassion, and grace, we can help to fill our cup so that we can be there in compassionate ways for others. So I'm so glad that you're going to invest 30 minutes of your precious time with us to fill up your own cup so that you have reserves to be there in support of others in your families, in your work, and in your community. So for those who are joining us for the very first time, Leap to Success is a women's empowerment organization, and we're based in Carlsbad, California. Our mission is to educate and empower women who are overcoming domestic violence, homelessness, and other major life challenges to reach their greatest potential. These webinars are our way to reach out to the broader community, and particularly to people who provide support to others. Whether you are a case manager, a therapist, or a caregiver, we welcome you and we give you this time to take a breath, to come back home to yourself, and to recharge your own batteries so that you can continue to be there for others. At the beginning of each of these webinars, we take a poll and we ask you to rate on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your current level of stress? So I'm going to give you a moment to check in with your body. You might notice your heartbeat. You might notice any tension or tightness in your shoulders. And go ahead and rate yourself on the stress poll. And we'll give you a few seconds to go ahead and do that. And then at the end of the webinar, we're going to take this poll once again, and we're going to see if your stress level has come down. So take this moment to check in with yourself. Great. So the stress poll will be closing in just a moment, and we will see the results. It looks like our average is right about a 5. So thank you for participating in that, and thank you for checking in with yourselves. So today's topic, self-compassion, is one that we want to give you an experience of. So in a moment, we're going to start our mindfulness practice, which will be an extended mindfulness practice today led by Kelly Grimes. And then after the mindfulness practice, I'm going to share with you 3 strategies to integrate self-compassion into your daily life and your activities. And then later in the month, on the 3rd Tuesday, we're going to invite you to come back and share with us what have you been able to use in your life and how is that working for you. So I'm excited to launch into this topic. I think it's a wonderful way to, as we are now at the beginning of November, and as we are going to, before we even know it, have the holidays here. So let's start with just taking really good care of ourselves and giving ourselves the compassion and the support that we deserve. So now I'm going to invite Kelly to come on and lead us through our meditative practice today, which is loving kindness. Here's Kelly.
Thank you so much, Dana, and welcome everyone. I'm so thrilled to take you through a loving kindness or metta meditation that has been an essential tool for me in coming home to myself over and over and continuing to cultivate self-compassion. Loving kindness is a practice of loving ourselves and what arises. It's about bringing compassion and loving kindness to support us and keeping our hearts open to ourselves. And as we cultivate our practice of self-compassion, our ability to extend compassion to others grows. The loving kindness meditation that I'm going to share with you today is a modified version from Ruth King's book, Mindful of Race, Transforming Racism from the Inside Out. Ruth King is an international teacher and of insight meditation traditions. And for many years, she's coached executives on transformational leadership, workplace trauma, and diversity awareness. Her book, Mindful of Race, is so outstanding and healing. And she runs a training program also with the same name, Mindful of Race. I invite you now to give yourself permission just to settle in. If you're comfortable, close your eyes or soften them down. And just bring that sense of curiosity and non-judgment to yourself for this moment. Simply notice how it feels to be seated where you are. Feel the support of the chair underneath you, of your feet on the earth. And for this moment, just tune in to what is arising. Take a few calming breaths in and out. And bring your awareness to your body for a moment. If you're noticing any places that you're holding any tension or tightness, just invite with a sense of kindness and compassion your body to relax and soften. There's no place else that you need to be in this moment and nothing else you need to do. Breathe in a few more times. Imagining with each in-breath creating some spaciousness around you, and on your exhale just releasing what isn't serving you. And now I invite you to reflect on a moment where you felt really loved by another person. An experience of deep gratitude, of heart-opening experience. And bring that recollection into your mind and your heart. Allow yourself to recall this moment as fully as you can, connecting to that direct experience. If it helps you, place your hand on your heart. And imagine that you're sitting across from that person, taking in the joy that you feel, feeling that sense of love and joy being exchanged between you. As you breathe, feel that sense of softening and acceptance. That experience of allowing and relaxing that naturally happens when you are in the presence of a dear one, experiencing a precious moment together. Feel that experience in your whole body. Resting in the warmth of this recollection. Actually experiencing loving kindness. And now, with gratitude, allow the image of the person to fade, but maintain that feeling of loving presence and that powerful quality of kindness and care that you felt. And then in your mind, repeat these statements after me. May I be safe. May I be healthy and strong. May I be happy and content. May I experience joy, freedom, and gratitude. May whatever blocks my heart be dissolved. May I practice compassion, forgiveness, and self-nurturing. May I know peace. May I choose to be my own best friend. And may I live life with ease and well-being. And breathe into all those beautiful aspirations for yourself. And then think of someone you love. Maybe somebody who needs some extra loving kindness. And send these beautiful loving kindness aspirations to them. And in your mind, repeat after me, may you be safe. May you be healthy and strong. May you be happy and content. May you experience joy, freedom, and gratitude. May whatever blocks your heart be dissolved. May you practice compassion, forgiveness, and self-nurturing. May you know peace. May you choose to be your own best friend. And may you live life with ease and well-being. And breathe into all of those beautiful aspirations that you sent. All that loving kindness that you sent to the one you love. And now let's expand the circle. Let's expand the circle to all those in your life, in your community, and beyond. Really sending out this compassion, starting with ourselves, out to the world, with these aspirations to repeat in your mind. May we be safe. May we be healthy and strong. May we be happy and content. May we experience joy, freedom, and gratitude. May whatever blocks our hearts be dissolved. May we practice compassion, forgiveness, and self-nurturing. May we know peace. May we choose to be good friends to one another. And may we live life with ease and well-being. Breathe into those beautiful aspirations of loving kindness that you started with yourself, that you filled up that deep sense of love and kindness for yourself to then extend beyond, to then extend to those that you love, and then beyond. I want to share these words of Ruth King before I invite you to open your eyes. She shares that the practice of metta, or loving kindness, is like composting. It may not seem like much is occurring, but deep inside the heap of your practice, good things are happening. In time, you will have rich, nourishing soil to feed and seed kindness. You could also consider metta practice or loving kindness practice a heart technology, a software upgrade you put into the hard wiring of your conditioning. The learning curve improves with consistent practice and with cumulative impacts resulting in an inner radiance that naturally opens you to noticing the good in others and in yourself. It beautifies what's experienced, and it influences how we relate to what happens next. And with that, dear friends, I invite you to place your hand on your heart again if you have taken it down. Breathe in to all that is possible when we come to ourselves with love and compassion and are then able to radiate that out into the world. I invite you now to open your eyes, move your fingers and your body around a little bit, and thank you for joining me in that extended practice where the idea is that we would feel what self-compassion feels like so that we can continue to cultivate it in our lives. At this point, I'm going to invite Dana back to share some strategies to continue that practice of self-compassion.
Thank you, Kelly. That was really beautiful. What I really appreciate about that is that in loving kindness, we start with ourselves first. And that's what each of you are doing today by making this commitment and showing up for yourselves in this webinar. So we start with ourselves first, and then we go to someone that we love, maybe somebody in our family or friends, and then outward, which contains all of us. And I think that's just such a beautiful practice and an example of community and being in community together. Thank you, Kelly. So self-compassion is a hot topic today, from mindfulness practices to any kind of self-improvement process. And the interesting thing is that science tells us, because there have been many studies done, that self-compassion beats self-criticism, and self-criticism actually robs us of motivation. So I want you to think about for a moment any type of change that you have wanted to make in your life. And oftentimes we want to make change because we're unhappy about something. I'm going to use weight loss for an example because that's something that I'm working with. So in the past, I would think about weight loss because I was unhappy with how my body felt. I was was unhappy about how my clothes fit. I was unhappy when I looked in the mirror. And all of those led to self-criticism. So think about a change and think about, what if there was another way to make that change? And what if by giving yourself compassion, it would actually make it easier to make that change? So self-compassion starts with appreciating ourselves. So if I think about that weight loss analogy, if I appreciate my body rather than feel disappointed in my body, if I appreciate my body and I think about it from the perspective of, well, if I do appreciate my body and I treat it with kindness and I treat it with compassion, I'm naturally going to find healthy nutrition. I'm naturally going to find things that make me feel good, that are ways to actually honor my body rather than be a critic of my body. And see if there's something that you have in mind that you want to change. And if you can think about it from the place of, how can you be compassionate? How can you be appreciative rather than critical? Because criticism robs us of motivation. So Dr. Gary Foster is a psychologist, an obesity researcher, and behavior change expert with Weight Watchers. And he's written a book called The Shift: 7 Powerful Mindset Changes for Lasting Weight Loss. And Dr. Foster cites study after study that show the power of self-compassion is a fundamental key to sustained success, and that it beats self-criticism every single time. But here's the challenge. Most of us were not taught how to be compassionate to ourselves. We were taught how to be critical to ourselves. And we model those things that we are exposed to, and they become habits and unconscious behaviors and unconscious thoughts. So a key to discovering how self-compassionate you are is to actually start to notice how you talk to yourself. So do you talk to yourself with kindness, or do you criticize? And you can ask yourself this question: what do I say to myself when I have a setback or I make a mistake? Do I say, oh, you're so dumb, you do that all the time? Or do you say something like, oh, you're learning something new. It's not easy to learn something new. Well, good job, because you're trying. And I'll ask you this question: which voice would you rather listen to? And think about if it was coming from the outside. Would you want to listen to that negative criticism and that coach that was berating you? Or would you want to listen to someone that was more like a cheerleader, who was cheering you on, who was saying how brave you were to try something new? Well, I know who I would rather listen to, and it would be that cheerleader. So here are 3 strategies that you can use to put more self-compassion into your life and into your daily practice. Here's number 1. Talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend. Talk to yourself as if you were talking to a friend. So what is helpful here, is to really be able to be that cheerleader, which I'm sure is the way that you would want to be to a friend that was feeling down. You wouldn't want to berate them for feeling bad about themselves. If they were trying something new and they stumbled or they made a mistake, you'd probably say something like, hey, friend, wow, I really appreciate how hard you're struggling right now. But look how brave you are. Look how courageous you are. You're trying something new. I mean, that would be a nice thing to say to a friend. So think about how you can talk to yourself as a friend. That's number 1. Here's number 2. Give yourself grace. So what's helpful is self-acceptance and realizing that you're human, and humans make mistakes. We are not born perfect. Every day we are learning new things. So give yourself grace. And that could be forgiving yourself for making a mistake. It could be being kinder to yourself, or just having the realization that you're doing the best that you can. And I love this quote by Maya Angelou, who says, "When you know better, you do better." So life is all about learning, and that strategy number 2 is give yourself grace. So studies have shown that any kind of behavior change, the kinder you can be, relates to how successful you can be. And so that's why we teach positive affirmations as part of all of our Leap to Success programs. Positive affirmations are a tool to help you recognize your own worth and value. And sometimes we need help coming up with positive affirmations. I want to show you one from our affirmation deck, which is called Leap to Your Best Life, Affirmations to Help You Soar. And this deck contains 48 affirmations that have been written by members of our Leap to Success community. And this is the one that I want to share with you right now. It says, "I wake up happy with gratitude and have a productive day." What if you looked at that before you went to sleep each night? What if you pulled that out when you woke up in the morning? I wonder what kind of impact that would have on your life. So that's our tip number 3. Write a positive affirmation and repeat it daily. So those are the 3 strategies. I'm going to go back. Number 1 was talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend. Number 2 is give yourself grace. And number 3 is write a positive affirmation and repeat it daily. And I've got one more strategy for you, and this is the bonus strategy. And this is a more advanced strategy, but I absolutely love it. So this is a technique that Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of the book Eat, Pray, Love, uses this technique every single day. So she's a writer. She's someone who is very in touch with her own fears and her own insecurities. She's been on a spiritual path and quest for many years. This is what she does. She writes letters of love to herself. And what I mean by this is these letters, they come from love to her. She sits and she writes them. And she does this when she's feeling anxious or when she's feeling scared. And these letters are her reminders that she's not alone. These letters are reminders that she is held in love and that love is present in her life. And this is a really powerful practice. It's something that I've started doing, and I do them. I'm going to show you this because this is something that brings me joy. This is a journal that I'm using, and it says, "Shine bright like a diamond." So find something that speaks to you and create a practice for yourself. And maybe it will be writing a letter from love. Start with your name. So if with my name, it's, "Dear Dana, I'm calling you today. I'm letting you know that you're not alone." So think about it. Think about what would you want to hear? What would be kind and loving and supportive that you could write to yourself, and you could reflect back when you weren't feeling loved, when you weren't feeling compassionate, and you could read those letters of love. So you've just heard 4 different strategies. And what I'd like to know is, what is one that you could put into your practice, that you could start with it and see what can blossom and what can grow? And perhaps it would be the loving kindness meditation that Kelly led us through. You could come back and you could listen to that from our YouTube channel. I think I'm going to come back to that and listen to that regularly because that was really, really lovely, Kelly. So I'm going to ask you to be bold and put something in the chat that we can go ahead and share out loud here that will inspire everybody that's on this webinar and everybody that is watching now? What is one self-compassion practice that you can put into place? Yeah, I know that you're thinking. I know that you're coming up with something that would be really wonderful for you to do. Maybe it will be to write yourself a letter from love. Maybe it will be to give yourself grace when you make a mistake and realize that you're doing the best thing that you can. Oh, here's someone who's written in, I'm going to write beautiful love letters to my soul. That's beautiful. And here's another one, be more forgiving with myself when things don't go how I want them to. And someone else has written an affirmation. And the affirmation is, I am in the process of creating positive change in my life. Yeah, that's a great one. It's so reinforcing. Here's another one. And this person is going to watch the loving kindness meditation from Kelly again. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that too. And here's someone else is going to write in a journal of forgiveness and love for herself. That's beautiful. And someone else has said, be more forgiving. I think you've all got the message here. I think you are equipped with ideas and tools that you can use to be more forgiving to yourself. And I know that when we are more forgiving to ourselves, we can be more forgiving to others. Someone else has written, I'm going to take breaks during the day to pause and reflect. And someone else has said, I'm going to speak kindly to myself. And here's another affirmation. This is a great one. You might want to write this one down. I am perfectly imperfect, and I love myself. I think that is the perfect note to end on. And I'm glad to see, thank you for sharing all of those. They are really powerful. In just a moment, we're going to take our second stress poll. Oh, actually, Louisa, if you would go ahead and put that up now, that would be great. So check in with yourself and rate the current level of stress that you are feeling now. And I have a feeling it's gone down because when we put our mind on thoughts of appreciation and kindness and how we can be self-compassionate, that automatically takes our stress level down. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the number is. And as you are doing that stress poll, I want to let you know that 2 weeks from now, on November 16th, we are going to have a roundtable discussion about self-compassion. So we are going to invite you all to come back with us and share and be so bold as to have your camera on and your microphone on and share with us what self-compassion were you able to put into practice. And let's see, our poll. I know that the poll went down there. Oh my goodness, you all went down to a number 2 on that 1 to 10 scale. And where we started was with most people at a 5. So good job, everyone. What I want to let you know is that you can do this every single day. You can take your stress level down. You can be more compassionate to yourself. And I'm just so grateful that you are part of our Leap to Success community and that you will use the tools that you learn here in your own life and that you will share them with others too. So thank you, Kelly, so much for the loving kindness practice today. Thank you, Louisa, for supporting us by putting the link in the chat. So there, friends, if you'd like to go ahead and register for our roundtable discussion 2 weeks from today, go ahead and click on the link that's in the chat. And we want to hear from you. We want to hear how these practices are working in your life, because you, my friends, have the opportunity to learn and love and grow and to share that out in the world. So thank you so much for being with us today. And I look forward to seeing you 2 weeks from now. Bye-bye.